Hey everyone, this is Tom with Fresh Vintage. Today we're in the RTR studio in Vaughn Gittin Jr.'s office himself. Thank you so much for letting us do
Heck
this,
yeah,
man.
man.
Really
Welcome,
appreciate it.
welcome.
Stick around for the other half of the video. We're actually going to have two videos. This one we're actually going to talk to Vaughn himself, and then from here we're going to go downstairs and check out the garage and see the project that's going on. Thinking about the actual your history and your career and all the stuff that you've done, you're basically like a living legend. And there's a lot of people. There's
Well,
a lot
thank
of
you.
people. You're welcome. It's amazing. Sorry, just amazing to be here and to actually be here doing this. But thinking about being like a living legend, and who do you actually look up to? Who in your world is someone who's kind of at your level? There's a lot of people watching. They see where you're at and what you're doing in life, but who do you like look to in that
Yeah,
respect?
I get asked this a lot, and I don't really have. I think I have a lot of people I've taken inspiration from, but I don't have any like real idols. It's really interesting. I kind of explain it like I see a lot of people that are like fans of things, and I've not really been a fan of anything until I was since I was a kid, a fan of baseball. I'm more of like a doer. And I'm more of like see things I like and I just want to do them. I don't necessarily become like a very like big fan of it. Like I'm not a massive fan of motorsports. I have friends that sit and watch F1 and NASCAR and all the motorsports all the times. Like I don't really love watching it. I love doing it. And so I think that just makes me a little bit different because I take inspiration from just people, right? So like people that have influenced me in my life. As a kid, guys like the Ricky Carmichaels, the Jeremy McGraths. As I evolved, Ken Block was a great friend of mine, a mentor, and somebody that I was very much inspired by. People like Rob Deerdick from a business mindset, from like growing from nothing to chasing passion to turning into a businessman. Gary Brecka, who's a health biohack, human biohacker. So I have a lot of people that I resonate with, and a lot of it comes from I think their energy and their approach and their story. But I think at the end, like I find inspiration from them, and then go down my own rabbit holes and chase the things that really resonate with me and my passions. And I would say we're all kind of a mixture of our surroundings and the energies and content that we absorb. And I'm no different from that. But I think I have a little bit of a different take on it than most people. They're like, oh my gosh, I idolized this guy and I did everything that he said. I don't have that story. It's just little bits from here and there that I take.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
It's a very, very comprehensive answer. I appreciate all the breadth there and all the people that really inspire us to try to be more and do more each and every day. And
Yeah, 100%.
there's a lot of people that look up in what you're doing day to day, and they want to be in that RTR car. They want to actually be drifting around, say, VIR or something like that, or at SEMA in the actual track there and stuff. You've had a lot of accomplishments. Drift champion, and you founded RTR. Ford is actually building an RTR Mustang for you now. What's something that you're most proud of in that? You look back at say the last 15 years or so. What are you most proud of in that?
Yeah, it's thank you for this because I don't look back often. In fact, recently when we went to go debut, the new RTR that's coming directly from Ford, the turbocharged model. One of my brand manager, Jaron here, said, do you realize what's happening tomorrow? And I'm like, I do, but I don't. But yes, thank you for making me think about it. Because you just get so into doing and what's going on today and tomorrow versus reflecting on the past, which is also very powerful and needed from time to time. I would say a couple key moments for me always will stick out. I think the first one is winning the USA versus Japan in 2005. Before that, winning the USA versus Japan in 2005, that will always stick out for me and what that meant for American drifting, what it meant for me. I quit my job in 2007. That's a massive hallmark in my life because it's one of the biggest decisions I ever made. I was 27 years old in IT, making great money, and I left it for this unknown of chasing my passion. And that was a really big decision for me. Getting an official deal with Ford in 2010 was another big moment, obviously. And then also that same year, partnering up with Monster Energy. And then that, just before that, revealing and announcing RTR to the world. I had this vision, and originally the vision of RTR was to create a new generation of Mustang, and now it's grown to so much more. Now we're strategic partners with Ford. We got vehicles coming out of the plant directly. I'm, in top level conversations about the future and just in general living my automotive dreams. And so I would say, those are really like core things, and obviously the championships are great. I've been racing off-road a lot and, winning King of the Hammers twice with my teammate Lauren, and then winning a couple championships in that. Those are nice tokens of the effort along the way, is kind of how I perceive those wins and those championships. But the learning and the experience that is gained from it all is really the real wins, because you get the trials and tribulations and the bad times. Then when you get the great times, you appreciate them much more because of the bad times. But the knowledge of how to do it and what was done differently is the thing that you keep always. And so it is hard to stay on top when you're on top, but it is easier to stay on top once you understand the recipe and the do's and don'ts. And so those moments that I learned the do's and don'ts throughout are really the most profound for where we're at right now.
And it's such a great answer, because you think about, if you're a younger person watching the video right now, I'm 43, and I think about how I've kind of like, you don't realize you're failing forward, but you choose to just keep moving forward, even if you learn from your mistakes and you just keep, going step by step into a successful, better version of yourself each and every day. And that's what we've seen with RTR. Like, you've done nothing but grow and expand and build, and you have the location down in New Mexico, if I remember correctly, right? Yeah.
Yep, that's where our off-road is, yeah.
That's the off-road. Okay. And speaking of off-road, you had the King of Hammer, was it? Yeah,
yep.
King of Hammer. And I saw the video as we were driving down here. He sent me Jay's behind the camera. He sent me the video of the Bronco with the helicopter, and I'm like, oh, geez.
Yeah, I made a wrong turn.
You made a wrong turn.
No, yeah, I started racing motocross, so I'm no stranger to off-road. So when I knew Ford was coming out with the Bronco, so let me just step back. I got invited to King of the Hammers by Nitto. I didn't even know what it was. I was literally on the beach with my wife on vacation, and Nitto called and said, hey, do you want to come to King of the Hammers? This was 2016, I think. Anyway, I showed up, brand new tennis shoes, in a rental car. And for those who have ever been to King of the Hammers, you don't show up in a rental car, you bring a truck. And that's where I met my RTR off-road partner and teammate Lauren Healy, who was basically, if you took my profile in drifting, he was that in off-road. And long story short, I fell in love with it. 2017, I built my own truck. And Lauren and I partnered up shortly after that, and we have just a equally as successful off-road Bronco racing program as we do with the on-road Mustang program, and that's in Farmington. We're just building a new 15,000 square foot facility out there that backs up to thousands of acres of BLM land where we can do experiences and testing and have all the fun. So, but the goal of all of the motorsport and all of the things that we're doing is to better and create awesome vehicles and products for RTR Vehicles customers.
So Vaughn, something I was thinking of is if a customer wanted to purchase and get into the RTR world, whether it's a Bronco or a Mustang, how would one do that? Like, talk about that and like the lifestyle of owning an RTR product.
Yeah, no, we focus solely on building turnkey cars and aftermarket products based on Ford vehicles. You can go to any of our dealers and just buy a car. You can reach out to us. We build cars here through our Built by RTR program. But we have amazing dealer network of Ford dealers. All of our vehicles come, warranty is all intact, match the factory warranty. With the Broncos, it's a styling, protection, lighting, and suspension packages that we offer. And then with Mustang, we have multiple specs. We have our Spec 1, which is more design-based, to our Spec 2, which gets our fully adjustable suspension, to Spec 3, which is over 800 horsepower. So we have the gamut. What customers can expect is just a very high-quality product and experience with us. My goal is that all of our vehicles build confidence, fill a void, and put a smile on our customers' faces. From the moment they wake up in the morning, walk out, hit the key fob, see their vehicle, and they're just like pumped that that's theirs. To the moment they start it, they hear it, they're driving it to wherever they're going, confidence inspiring setup, people looking at them, thumbs up, all the things that happen, stop at a gas station, make new best friends, and then of course the performance, right? Whether you're taking your Bronco off-road or your Mustang on the track or just hitting the back roads for some spirited driving. We want it to be all confidence inspiring and fun and make you feel as a customer fulfilled. And so we take a lot of time on engineering, design, our testing protocols, everything is to achieve all of those goals. And, it's just been growing and picking up traction. And the more people that see the brand and see the cars, the more people that are falling in love with it. And it's an honor to have, my creation making such a big impact on our customers. And when I say my creation, it came out of my head. Obviously, I have an amazing team that does it all, but we're all a part of what started as that, and it's something just very special.
Absolutely.
It's more than just a company. We're a family, and I love meeting our customers and just hearing their stories and what our vehicles have done for them. And it's beyond what I ever thought it would be when I just wanted to make Mustang cool again,
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's really cool.
And it's actually a very, like you said, it's kind of a unique thing because if I remember correctly, you said Ford, this is the second time Ford has officially partnered with someone to build a spec car like this.
Yeah. Since Shelby in the 60s.
Yeah. So, it's very, very impressive to see. And that's the quality and the level of build that you're getting with an RTR product. Where could someone go to, what's your website if they wanted to take a look?
Yeah, rtrvehicles.com.
RTR Vehicle,
yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, check us out. And we're on, obviously, all social platforms, RTR Vehicles. And, yeah, if you need anything, reach out. We got 5-Star Jim, who's our customer service man. I dubbed him that because he's such a killer. But if you have any questions, reach out or come see us at an event or check out one of our dealers.
So thinking about shifting gears to actually drifting, and in our neck of the woods, we're from Virginia there, thinking about Virginia International Raceway. We've been to Hyperfest. We've seen you drift in both on the Patriot track and in the little skid pad they have there. Something that really stuck out to Jay and I is we see it sounds weird to say, but it's almost like a ballet with cars. I mean, you guys are so flawless and so in sync with each other. And we'll throw a picture of us we have. These cars look like they're sitting there and they staged it and there's smoke around, like they staged the whole thing. But you guys are probably doing 30, 40 miles an hour and you're just perfectly just drifting. How do you guys synchronize yourselves? Do you have a test facility here? Or do you have, how do you guys get that flawless and perfect?
Yeah, no. It's just experience. The 30, 40 miles an hour you're talking about is in the skid pad. And when we're on the Patriot course, we're hitting 80, 90, 100. It's just experience. There's no pre-planning. When we're on a skid pad, we'll plan kind of the layout that we're going to run. So there's no surprise turns. But when you're on a track, you just learn how to read cars. You learn how to read the other car. You notice when they're flicking it in, you flick it in right on them. You're constantly adjusting to what they're doing. So when you see it the way you are sharing it as a really organized, well-structured ballet, that's just two really good drivers that know their cars very well and they're vibing off each other. There's never been a test to go to a Hyperfest. It's just, this is what we do, and it's easy when I'm with my teammate Ben Hobson or James Dean. We're in the same cars, we're there to put on a show. We're not competing against each other. But when you watch Formula Drift, it looks the same. And it's actually two drivers battling against each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you still make it look that way.
Yeah.
And so it's just, it's crazy. When I watch drifting from the outside, in fact, I don't even like to watch when I'm at an event because it's so insane. I can get in my head and be like, am I doing that? And so I just go do my thing.
Yeah.
But it's so wild, and I can see that. But it's really, I don't want to like discredit it, but it's just like anything else. You put the 10,000 hours into it, you become a master. You can do this stuff in your sleep.
Yeah.
So again, it's extremely hard, and drifting it takes extreme talent, extreme precision, extreme focus. But for us, like, I'm not having fun unless I'm trying to get that extra inch. Unless I'm trying to just like barely tap, touch their door or their fender, like that's the kind of things that at this level now we're doing for fun, and I've been doing this sport for over 20 years. There's not really anything in my life, that I've been committed to for such a long time, other than my wife and probably brushing my teeth. And so, but the reason why I'm saying that is because there has to be something that drives you to do something for so long.
Yeah.
And the thing with drifting and off-road racing and motorsport in general is just that constant challenge. You never, even though you're the master on paper and you win and this and that, there's never not a thing to learn. It's always changing, it's always evolving, and that is constant engagement for a brain like mine.
And that's a really good answer, because you have to ask yourself watching the video, what drives you? What makes you get out of bed in the morning? What helps you motivate you to do, like, try to aspire more and be more and actually become the best version of yourself? So it's a really, really awesome answer.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm not going to try and pronounce the German Nürburgring. I'm going to butcher it. But so thinking about preparation and the next challenge and stuff, how did you like mentally prepare, like gear up? Like, you obviously you have the cars, you get ready, but how did you, knowing that you were drifting that? And I think
Nürburgring you're talking about.
Yeah.
That was a dream of mine. I went there in 2012, and just rented like a little K car with slicks on it and went and did laps around it. I'm like, I got to come back and drift this. So 2018 and 2019, I was able to make it happen with Ford. 2018, we got rained out. So I drifted a Raptor on it, which you can go check that video out on Ford Performance's site. And then in 2019, we went, the weather was relatively perfect, and we were able to fully drift it in my Mustang. The way I prepared for it was a lot of POV laps and using Forza Motorsport.
Okay.
And just running the ring.
That's just actually great. Like you said,
laps.
The 10,000 hours you were talking about.
And I figured, I figured it out. It was a lot faster in person. I mean, I hit 155 rev limiter multiple times on that track. And it was crazy because there's a lot of blind turns. There's a lot of like roughness on the track. Like, it's a real legit challenging course. But it was insane. And still to this moment, one of the greatest, craziest things I've ever done behind the wheel of a car. And, that will live on forever in my memories and on the internet. So you guys check it out, Drift King of the Ring. But it was definitely epic, and it's very hard to memorize 13 miles.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
So, but I put the time in and just learned section to section, and we started the video doing sections, and then we did full laps. Lead car, so camera in front of me chasing the camera on a full lap, and then chase car, the camera chasing me.
Okay.
And so, once we had done the sections, compiled with all the work that I did previously, then once it was time to do full laps, I was ready to rock, and I certainly did.
And if you haven't seen that video, definitely go check it out. I think it's on Monster's YouTube channel where I watched it.
Yeah.
But I was even watching, I'm like, I stopped breathing for a second or two because I saw your tires. I'm like, oh, he's going towards the dirt. And there's a few times where you clipped the dirt for just a moment or two and you got right back on the track. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I was trying to extend it because I didn't want to like manji. I wanted to like connect everything. And so in order to connect some of those straightaways, you really got to use all the track. So sorry about the grass, Nürburgring.
You're thinking about the crowd that we see. We specifically think about Hyperfest. Obviously, SEMA is a huge event too that draws all kinds of people. But Hyperfest brings in, I don't want to say a younger crowd per se, but it's definitely, I'd say, younger than me. I'm 43. Are you thinking about the crowd that you see now and knowing about the auto industry where it's headed? Are you impressed with the crowd that you see now? And Jay and I, something else we talk about. Jay and I talk about picking this up and handing it to the next generation and keeping the automotive industry alive so that it doesn't like fizzle out and we all end up just like riding around in robo-taxis or something.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's one of my greatest motivators. Automotive in general has been such a huge part of my life. I mean, I was that kid that had to have Matchbox and Hot Wheels pried out of my hands at my mom's, wedding. I was a kid that could tell you headlights and taillights at 4 or 5 years old. And so it's been such a huge part of my life. And so through what I do and part of why I do is that inspiration of the next generation. I started my own car company because I wanted to make sure that there was always something inspiring for the enthusiast. And obviously now, when I started RTR in 2009, there wasn't such a focus on enthusiasts. And now obviously Ford has Ford Performance, focus on enthusiast vehicles. We're obviously collaborating. And so for me, aside from the driving and all the other exciting things, I really enjoy that side of the business because I'm able to help curate and be a part of that future experience that the 16-year-old me would have been able to benefit from then. And so it's my dream that Ford stays up to what they're saying and not making boring cars, and we continue to collaborate and keep people excited about the automotive industry and the fun that can be had and the friends that can be made and the personalities that can be shared from behind the wheel.
Thinking about what you see now, you go to a lot of different events all over the country and even all over the world too. Is there something out there in the industry that is kind of like a blank space, like something that you don't actually see happening that maybe you would want to help like pilot and pioneer as a new like automotive event, like the Baja 1000 meets the Drift 1000 or something like that, like some kind of maybe something out there that we're not seeing now in the auto industry?
I think there's a lot of things in the auto industry as far as like some tech and things like that could be brought in, a way to connect people and like curate group experiences and things like that. But as far as like events and activities, I mean, I'm always have wild dreams. I'd love to take Ultra 4, which is the off-road racing series that I do that does King of the Hammers. I'd love to see them go downtown and do an event downtown, crazy obstacles, crazy jumps. Grid Life does a great job of mixing on-road, off-road, and kind of having this kind of something for everyone, and so does Hyperfest. So there is those events popping off. I think the biggest thing right now is, accessibility, getting vehicles out that are accessible to people, training and learning. I think that a lot of people are intimidated on how to like get involved in car community, especially women. And I would really like to see some like effort to like give the answers and make things a little bit less intimidating for people that aren't so, haven't lived in this and like live and breathe it, to be comfortable asking dumb questions or, things like that. I think it's the inclusiveness. And the community is very inclusive, but it is a little bit intimidating for newbies to kind of hop in and be in the mix,
Definitely.
And so I'd like to see that kind of evolve a bit and people feel a bit more welcome no matter who, what they are, where they come from, what kind of car they drive. And I think that growth in the community will lead to a very, a long-term insurgence of car culture, and not that it's doing bad now, but when I think about like what the next steps for growth are, you've got us, right? You've got the the ones that live and breathe this. So it's like, how do we engage others that like think car culture is cool, but they just have no idea.
Yeah.
And they also don't want to spend 10,000 hours to figure it out so that they're cool enough to show up at a Cars and Coffee in their mind. It's like, how do you make this, something that everyone's comfortable with and not so nichey. And so I think there's some ways to evolve that into the future. And but that's the amazing thing about being on Earth is the opportunities are endless, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm just honored to kind of be where I'm at in the space and have the influence that I do and work with such great people and great brands that are supporting the bigger picture cause of growing automotive culture.
It's an awesome culture that we have. And if we encourage you, if you've never been to your local Cars and Coffee, just search Cars and Coffee. We've got an awesome one in our hometown, and we really enjoy the people. Very family friendly. If you're curious about cars, come on by. We'll welcome you and say, hey, check this car out, check that car out, and maybe someday we can get you to stop by our Cars and Coffee. But
yeah, and that's one of the things I love about the Mustang and the Ford community in general. Obviously I know there's other sects and groups, but like the Mustang community is so welcoming and so opening, as is Bronco. I've had the opportunity to be a part of them now for decades, and it's really cool to see people literally just building lifelong friendships around a passion for cars. And there's so many intangibles that come along with getting in this type of space and being an enthusiast that I want more people to feel it.
yeah, absolutely. If you're looking for a family, you've found it in the car community. So we welcome you in. So.
For sure.
One final thing, and then we can jump out to the garage.
Cool.
Was I saw a post about you. You had a Spec 5, and it was going down through a distributor to Australia.
Yep.
How is that going for you? I think it was pretty recently you did that.
Yeah. So our business here is not building race cars for customers, but we do realize humbly, we build some of, if not the best drift cars in the world, and we do have people quite often asking. And we only do it, though, when there's a bigger picture scenario that makes sense. So whether it's we're expanding into a new market space or this driver or team is something special and we want to be a part of what they're doing, right? So this particular case in Australia, Jordan Sanderson reached out to me, and he just had all of his stuff together. And it was perfect timing for us because we are doing a big expansion into Australia with RTR. We've gotten pretty big in New Zealand as a test case for that part of the world. And now, Australia is obviously a really large market. Mustang's there and Ford's there pretty heavy. And so just timing made sense. So I chatted with Jordan multiple times. I really liked his approach, his demeanor, his driving skill. He's one of us. He's me. He's action sports kid, dirt bikes, he barefoot water skis, like he's into adrenaline pumping fun. And so we just made it happen. He was able to find the funding for us to build a proper car, and we built him a Formula Drift spec rolling chassis and sent it out there, and he's putting the powertrain in it and things like that with his team, and we'll be campaigning out there, and he'll be campaigning out there, and I may end up going out, a couple times over the next couple of years to drive the car. Awesome. And just part of our global expansion. We've got a team in the Middle East, we've got a team in New Zealand, now Australia, and then obviously here, and we'll be continuing to expand, as it makes sense for the brand.
And I saw at the very bottom of that post, it said this kind of a bucket list thing for you to get to the land down under, so to speak.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I love Australia. I've always been, my idea of Australia I've been in love with because I've not been there. But when I was 12, we had 2 exchange students come to my house in Maryland, and they stayed with us for a week. And so I've always been connected to that country, although I've never made it out there. And looks like hopefully this year will be the year I get out there.
Oh, that'll be awesome. We'll definitely stay tuned make sure you subscribe to Vaughn Gittin Jr.'s channel on YouTube and social media, Facebook and whatnot, so you can be ready for that. Thank you very, very much, Vaughn. Amazing stuff here. And the one thing we wanted to ask you is if we could get a quick tour of the garage.
Absolutely. Let's go down. The RTR lab, as we call it.
Okay.
A couple things that we won't be able to show them, but they'll see them soon, and we'll just have to wash your brain before you leave.
There we go. We'll just
Okay.
so
Let's
let's
do
go
it.
do it.